Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? This is Tom Dombro, your local coordinator, coming to you with just an incredible announcement with having, I should say promotion. We'll talk about that later. But we've got the one and only Cullen Haskins coming in to our local area to do a local seminar for us, September 21st at the 4 Point Sheridan from 9 to 3. And a lot of you have seen Cullen at the major events. I saw him quite a bit at the major events, especially through the GMTSS meetings and other things going on. And we've had several conversations since since International Convention, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have Cullen Haskins coming in. And he's $1 million earner with the company. He's just been so influential throughout the Midwest. Now he's down in the Tampa, Florida area, kicking butt down there, taking names. We were chatting a little bit right before before we got started, and he's got his 2 evaluations already going today. So I'm really excited because not only is he going to come teach us what to do, but he is going to show us what to do because he's walking the talk. So pretty awesome. And so just want to give a shout out to Chris and Dana and Jason who are on already, and a few others that I see. But Cullen, why don't you take it away?
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on here. I'm glad we're able to coordinate this and jump on. And really, you guys, the reason Ton and I came up with this was just to provide some additional coaching and maybe some tips for you guys that will help you become a better promoter with your business in general, but also promoting into the local seminar that I'm going to come do for you guys on September 21st. So with that being said, many of you guys know my background, but if not, I'm going to share it with you, but I want to share it with you from a 2-minute commercial standpoint, okay? Meaning I'm going to share it with you in a way that I'm like going to train you, but then share it so it's not weird, but like this is what you guys all should be doing, okay? Is when you get in conversations with people, when Ton and I are out and we're meeting people, I have to be able to be short with my answer, and I got to give an appealing description of what I do that somebody would be attracted to, where they would want to learn more. If I'm not doing that, or if I'm not coming back with even a question as I close out with somebody, as sharing a little bit about myself, let's say, then they're probably not going to ask me what I do. But if it's like, hey, what do you do? And I say to somebody, I say, well, I own an unfranchised. Have you ever heard of it? See, that comes back with a question. If I just say, well, I own an unfranchised, then they're like, oh, that's great. So anyways, so right over their head. All right. So if I say, well, what I do is I teach people like you how to make money leveraging this internet thing. This internet thing's kind of catching on. Would you agree with me? And so I'm asking a question back to engage them into a conversation because they're asking me, what do I do? So if I'm like the 2 appointments I had today, Trinity and I had 2 personal appointments today, and Trinity got called out because her mom's having a surgery. So she jumped on a quick plane to Chicago. So I showed these 2 personal appointments. I actually set one, Trinity sent the other, but I met with the 2 people. Both appointments went amazing. Sold the ticket, got next steps booked with both people. They're both excited about learning more about what we do, and they're moving towards leading me to people. That's really the key. It's funny because the first appointment today, Ton, Jake, the server, the guy, while we were sitting there just talking, getting to know each other in the first 5 minutes, his mom walks in. So he's like 30, but his mom walks in and she sees him and says, I thought you were going down to this restaurant. He goes, no, I was coming to Starbucks. She goes, well, I'm not following you. I thought you were going down there. And, so they were joking. And then he's just like, oh, Cullen, this is my mom. And I'm like, oh, hi, Mom. Nice to meet you. And, but the appointment went so great that at the end I said, well, your mom seems really cool. What does she do? And she's like, well, she's owned a couple businesses and this and that up in Montana. And then we relocated, down here about a year ago and just took this leap of faith and let's go to Florida. And I said, wow, and of course I'm like, oh, me too. 2 years ago, we moved to Florida. And so all this common ground stuff, right? But at the end of the appointment, I said to him, your next step is I'm very direct on next steps, by the way. If you guys aren't very direct on what your next steps are and you're wishy-washy, then you're probably not getting the results that somebody who's being direct is receiving. Okay. So today I'm like, your next step is I created a PDF, and I'll share it with you guys, Tom, but I created a PDF that's like an FAQ. And the goal of the FAQ is, people are going to go home and research us, because we even say, check us out, and then the Better Business Bureau and everything. And we know, all of us who've been doing this a little longer than a year or two, you develop a spine or a backbone that nobody's going to back us into a corner. Nobody's going to question our integrity as a company or as a person or anything, right? Like we get that. But as we're growing ABC, Trinity and I are growing so fast right now with ABC and team growth and all this, that when you get down CD level, sometimes I'm a little removed and I'm trying to dig in there and help, because I'm the spine and I'm trying to help all that grow. But they get to somebody, they get to the D or the E, and it goes to grandpa, or it goes to the uncle, or it goes to somebody. And what they do is they Google us, right?
Right.
And when they Google Market America, what pops up? Well, autofill on there, like a few things down, is like, oh, it's a scam, so then somebody clicks on it, and then they start reading some stuff. Well, you got to consider the author, meaning consider the source. Some of these people are just fishing for people to go join whatever company it is that they're doing. All right. They're full of crap to begin with. All right. So they're not even stating the facts. Other people state a few facts, but then a number of things that they're stating are obviously false. It's not true what they're saying. So instead of us being defensive and trying to counteract that after it happens, and we already know it's happened, it's kind of like you see it coming at you, like this car's coming at me. I'm either going to jump out of the way or I'm going to get run over. Somebody who's doing their due diligence is going to read into that. Now, here's the caveat. The person who's sharp, they'll read through the BS, okay? Sharp people will read through they'll realize that this person, like, this can't be true what they're saying on someone. This doesn't even make common sense, because they're a sharp person. In other words, they've had high levels of success in their life. People who've never run a business and don't totally get everything, they're going to believe some of it and jump to a conclusion on it, because they don't know how to decipher what could be true and false, because they've never run a business or they haven't had a high level of success in their life. Not trying to be judgmental on anybody personally, but this is just my experience with people. All right. So what I came up with, Ton, was I was like, we need to be proactive. So what am I doing? I'm handing them a PDF, and I'm emailing them a PDF immediately that says your next step is to read through this PDF, because these are the frequently asked questions that people, want to know, because our first meeting, always, brings up more questions than it's going to answer. And so therefore, I'm going to help answer some of those questions, because you're going to forget maybe some of the things I even talked about. And so check this out. And then what I did is I went through every blog post on the internet and looked at everything that everybody's trying to say, that are trying to just baloney out, the whole deal. And then you just go down it. And then I came up with like 20 items as like the ones that are like the most questioned, right? And then I came up with question and then answer, and everything's from the perspective that it should be, versus it being like all like, it's not defensive at all. Hey, are do you have customers with your company? And it's like, yeah, we are required to have customers, because the Federal Trade Commission says you need to be building a customer base that's not part of your sales and distribution organization. Boom, like fact, and now we go down the facts, are your products priced competitively? Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, we're a product brokerage company. And so a lot of it, what I did, Ton, is I just kind of copied and pasted stuff from websites that are already part of the company to help answer these questions. You see, it isn't like Cullen's made up story here, you
right.
know? But now if I hand that to you right away, Ton, and you read that, and then you go on the internet and start searching around, right? And I already told you to check out the BBB, and that's one of the FAQs as well, right at the top, one of the first ones. But if you go do it and somebody makes a claim on something, but you already read the fact on it, now you're going to say, wait a second, one of the authors isn't telling the truth. But at this point, I'm going to have to go with the person I just met with, because I'm at least going to go back and ask a question, right? And I'm going to go back and say, hey, your fact says this, but I did get a blog, and you know what, Tom, the blog said this about your company. And so just help me understand, why you think they're saying that or whatever. And then we're like, hey, great, no problem. Here's the deal, and then we address it and we move on. We can all agree, you guys, that if someone is looking for something negative, they're going to find it.
Yep. If
they're looking for positive, they're going to find it. But if we can up the odds that Uncle Jim, who's at the E level, here's what I was noticing, is Uncle Jim would go back to a few of them in the middle in the ABC and say, Tom, did you even do due diligence on this thing? I mean, just be honest with me. Did you do a Google search? And Tom, of course, is like, no, I just trusted the person at this point, and everything sounded pretty legit. And then he's like, you're a moron. Like, I mean, look at what I found, and da da da. And so mentally, when people aren't strong enough, they feel embarrassed. And when they're embarrassed, we go into retreat mode. And we go into retreat mode, we don't answer the text or the call anymore. And the person's gone because they weren't mentally strong enough. So it's one of two things. Either they were never going to be mentally strong enough to run their own business, and we got to chalk it up to that person probably isn't the greatest candidate to be an entrepreneur. Or we got to say they got bullied and we didn't do a good job of protecting them in the beginning.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of bullies. I hate bullies, no matter what. You know, I mean, look, if you're not a fan of being an entrepreneur, you don't want to be an entrepreneur, pass on Market America, but don't make stuff up. And if you didn't check off the boxes of Market America and you didn't do the work, don't act like, oh, I got in and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know it required sales. I didn't know it required customers. I didn't know that there was team building. Like, that's all a lie. Because we're very upfront with people before they set up an account, because we don't want to waste time bringing on the wrong people.
Yep.
So this FAQ, I'm giving it to the person right out of the gate to where they can read it. That's your first step. And then, you know, here's some follow-up videos, you know, and I love the new video that, you know, Mr. Jim Winkler created on Showing the Plan. That one's awesome. And so that's one of the videos I use as a follow-up tool, because it's 41 minutes long. And a lot of times in that first meeting, I don't get into the whole plan. I'm more talking in themes with somebody, or I might get out a piece of paper and just kind of, you know, jot some things down and just get them to understand some basic premises of what we do. Okay. With all that being said, I had to promote. That's what I'm getting to here, by the way. So I had to promote, because we don't just sign people up, guys, and because we're getting people to move forward in the process, I had to promote our next seminar. So our next seminar in Tampa happens to be Tom Holden and Kazoo, who you guys know and love in your area. They're coming in to do our seminar on September 14th. And so what I did is I took out the ticket, I slid it over, and I promoted. And here's what I said. And this is what you should be saying, okay? I was telling Tom, I said, it's always weird when I'm just like, I'm going to tell you guys how to promote me, because then it sounds like it's all like, let me tell you how great I am. You know, and I'm like, it's not about that at all. Although, here's the issue. This is our biggest issue with our company, okay? And if you get this, you're going to burn through 5 tickets in the next week, guaranteed, if you get this, all right? So listen very, very closely. This is something I had to learn, by the way, and so I'm going to just best promoting tip I'm going to give you guys. And I'm giving it to you now so you can burn through the tickets, and I want you to come up to me at the local or the day before, or send me a message or send Ton a message and say, hey, I took Cullen's tip, like he shared with us, and I used it. And I put 5 more people, 5 more tickets. I sold them because I want to use you at the seminar as somebody who took the tip and actually used it and said it, and it worked for you. Because it'll work with every single one of you. I want like 20 people in front of the room sharing how you shared the tip. All right. So here's the deal. In our business, we become so close with people who have built the business that we all become great friends. And it's a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, we're such great friends that it becomes, oh, well, it's just Ton Donbro. You know, like, oh, who's your next seminar? I got Ton coming to town. He's cool. Like, we're great friends. Like, you should come. Like, that's not a promotion, guys. That's a, like, we're buddies. We're buddies. We're too close. Oh, it's just Ton. Hey, who's showing the next UVP? Oh, it's Ton. Yeah, you should come. Like, that's your promotion. No way on planet Earth is that a promote. That's an announcement. Like, you just announced what's happening. That's it. An announcement, promotion, 2 different things. So here's what you have to do. No matter what's happening, right? Whatever's coming up in the schedule. So obviously we're focused on the local seminar as the next big rock in the Milwaukee area there. So for me, what I had to do with Tom and Kay, all right? So I slide the ticket over, and I have to make that ticket more valuable to the person than what they could possibly have on their schedule. Now, this guy this morning was a server, so I already know weekends are where he makes most of his money. So I had to make it about a return on investment for him, because he's going to be giving up some serving time and some tips to where I had to show him how to double his tips, regardless of Market America as a business. See, step 1 is what's in it for him. If I could get you to a seminar where I have 2 of the top trainers in the planet, let alone in my company, okay? And they're going to show you exactly how to double your tips you know, make you more valuable in what you already do to your customers that are at your tables. But your manager starts saying, man, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is unbelievable. Like, where did you learn this? And he's just like, oh, I went to this Market America seminar. You know, if it was that awesome, what would it be worth to you? And like, if I got the ticket, our ticket doesn't have the price on it, because then you can say whatever you want. But if it does have the price on it, either way, you could put your finger over it, okay? Because I'm going to ask the person, what would that be worth to you? See, promotion isn't about you talking the whole time. It's about like asking a few questions about adding value to the person's life, making them better to, you know, at that seminar than they were going into it. So they're leaving a better person, okay? But tangible skills that I guarantee are going to make you more money in your job or occupation or business that you run. See, so everybody can practice what I'm saying, by the way. And if you got to watch this a few times, practice it and practice. I mean, this is going to make you a ton of money, because why? You're going to naturally attract the right people by being a great promoter. So if that's going to do that for you, would that be worth a Saturday and a financial investment to come learn? And he was like, absolutely. And I said, so how much do you think? I mean, how much would you invest? Watch the wording. Not how much would you spend or how much would the ticket cost. It's like, it's an investment. We're always speaking in terms of investment, guys. So on our thinking, I'm always like return on investment for people. So if you're going to take a Saturday and invest some money and time into learning at a seminar, what would that be worth to you? And he said, oh, I don't know. I mean, and he kind of hesitated, and that told me that he has no clue. He's never been to a seminar about creating wealth or creating financial freedom or anything like that. But I knew that, but I still had to ask it. So I says, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been to anything outside of like maybe going to high school or college or something, continuing education, like where somebody really coached you on how to double your income? Like they sat you down and says, here's the deal. This is what you're going to do. And they're going to take you by the hand and do it. And he's like, no. And I said, okay. And I said, have you read any books, you know, by like, you know, Robert Kiyosaki or John Maxwell or, you know, Tony Robbins? Or he's just like, no. He goes, I've heard of some of them, but I've never went down that road. And I said, okay. I said, so you really have no clue what people have invested to go to a training or seminar like that? And he's like, no. And I said, all right, well, let me put some perspective around it then, just so you understand. I said, people spend thousands of dollars to go learn from people who are where they would like to be. Not people who are talking about it, not people who read it in a magazine or learned about it in school, and then they're going to go teach other people what they learned in school, but nobody's doing it. Right. I'm talking like people who've lived it. Would it be valuable to learn from somebody who is where you would like to be? Do you see the value in that? He goes, oh man, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, just spending time with you today has been awesome already, you know? And I said, yeah, thank you. I said, likewise. I think you're awesome too, you know? So I'm always returning the compliment, see, because it's always about them ultimately, right? So I said, okay, so going back to that ticket, now that we know that people are investing thousands to go learn from people, and I said, you know what, maybe I should tell you who they are first. I said, so Kay Zhu started in business. She was a real estate agent, and a successful real estate agent. And she said, you know what, I make great money, but I'm married to it time-wise, and I want to create an ongoing income. And she's built this up in a very short period of time to a director income level of $18,000 in a 4-week pay cycle. So just having her by herself come to town, do you think she could teach you a thing or two if she's built up a business to $18,000 in a 4-week pay period in commissions? And he goes, oh yeah, totally. And I said, all right, Tom Holden, I said, didn't even finish high school. I said, general contractor, just jack of all, master of none, just, you know, like gritty, do whatever it takes kind of guy, but knew he needed a way to create a residual income so he could spend more time with his kids because he's got a whole litter of them. You know, he built this thing up to a $25,000 income within a 4-week pay cycle is what he's earned. I said, so he's coming. Do you think he's going to add some value? But he had to take educational steps outside of, you know, formal education of school because he didn't even finish high school, for crying out loud. I said, but he was willing to invest in himself. And so he's going to take all of this knowledge and bring it in and share it with you that day. And I said, do you think that would be where? He goes, oh yeah, they sound like two amazing people. I said, so if we have two for the price of one, what would this ticket be worth to you? And he says, I don't know, probably like probably $100. And I was just like, yeah, at least $100. I said, I probably spent $1,000. I said, but $100, yeah, all day long. And he's like, yeah. And I said, so would you invest so you would invest $100 right now? And he's just like, yeah. And I said, all right, well, I got great news for you. It's not going to be 100. It's going to be $30. And he's just like, you're kidding. And I said, no. I said, would that be cash, check, or credit card? And he was just like, no, yeah, credit card. I don't have any cash on me or whatever. And I said, all right. And I took out my iTransact and I swiped his card and then I gave him the ticket. And as he's doing the iTransact time, I'm still like talking to him and, just keeping it light and fun and right.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there for a second because I got some more I can do, but anything that you're hearing that you want me to hit on or elaborate or whatever.
Well, I just want to make a big point on you asking the question on, can you see some value in that? Right. So, it's about giving the background of the individual. And a lot of people will say, you need to go to this event because of this background. And when you ask the question, what it does is it causes what I call a micro yes, right? And it's the small steps to getting them to say yes to starting their business. And so every time you can get them to say yes, it's a sale, right? It's a micro sale in their mind that reinforces their commitment to whatever direction they're going in. So when you say, I've got Cullen Haskins coming in, he's $1 million earner, based on his background and what he's been able to do. And, can you see that there would be some value in that? What would that be worth to you? And nobody's going to say $30. Everyone's going to say way more than that because they really do know that it's going to cost a lot more than, I'm going to Tony Robbins in Miami in November, I think it is. And that's like a $5,000 ticket. So $30, I'm okay with that.
all day.
Right. And so if you can get those mini yeses, micro yeses as you're going through and asking them questions, reaffirming in their own mind the direction that they're going. And I love what you said about the what's in it for them. Right. And so there's a lot of value in learning from these incredible leaders that are going to, that have been successful already in this business, but can you see the value in how it's going to help you even outside of the business? And that's right. Incredible. So great points. Great points.
It's amazing to me, Ton, how some people think that we're in the Market America bubble. And sometimes we are because we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes some of us, we just kind of get complacent and stuck in the Market America bubble. But once you get outside the bubble, like when I went to my first seminar outside of Market America, I was just like, oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. I was like, but they stole everything from JR.
Absolutely. Originality is concealing the source.
Right. But it's funny because I was always within this bubble, and then I started going to some other trainings. And look, some of the trainings I went to weren't my cup of tea, but I still grabbed a couple of nuggets. And then there were some other trainings that I was like, this is smoking hot, man. Like, this is unbelievable. I'm stealing that. I'm using that at one of my next seminars because that's going to move people forward. That's why we're always growing ourselves is to impact more people within our business. It's like, how many more customers can I help? How many more franchise owners can we help? And that's a reason to continue to read books, listen to audios inside of our company, but also outside of our company. JR is a big believer in outside of our company. He just doesn't want to necessarily endorse anybody specific all the time because then somebody says, well, JR said, go do this. And, it's like, all right, well, listen, just pick something, but he's a big fan of all of us continuing to grow ourselves because we become better. And if we become better, the whole company becomes better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from now until, we're going to do another Zoom probably in about 2 weeks, right? About 2-3 weeks. And we're going to, for everybody that's, that watches this video, we're going to want you on that call because we want you to give some feedback and share with us. Once I post these in the Facebook groups, please comment within them. This recording will be available for everybody, just so everybody knows. And in that next webinar that we're going to do you have some ideas of what you're going to talk about yet?
Probably just around presenting, okay. Because that's where people need to become proficient at, whether you're presenting products, whether you're presenting the business system. It's still always around presentation. And this is what is very under practiced, and people are nervous about it. And, you know, look, coming from a guy who flunked speech in college, I get it, you know, but, you know, that's when the teacher gave me the topic and said, here, do it. And I wasn't passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Be passionate about your reason why, and leverage your reason why in your goal statement to build out your 2-minute commercial, which let me do that really quick, just a couple minutes, Tana. Is that cool?
Yeah, we got a few minutes before, because I want to make sure this is short and sweet for everybody, but yeah.
2-minute commercial. So Cullen Haskins, guys, here's the deal. So I'm 24 years old. You know, I'm working for Bayer Pharmaceutical. Somebody says, what do you do? I say, well, I work for Bayer Pharmaceutical. But what I'm really excited about is I have an internet business that's going to allow me to get home with my kids in the next 2 years. I got a plan in place. Do you know anybody else looking for a B plan that could turn into an A plan? That could be a quick answer, okay? That's not even 2 minutes, right? But then, like, if I give a longer version, and I want to give, too many of you are getting too long-winded across the country, even on my team. I'm like, guys, simmer down. Like, don't show the whole plan in just one response to somebody, okay? So we got to answer their question. So it's just like, hey, what do you do? Or, you know, Cullen, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I'm like, thank you. And I says, you know, I got introduced to this business when I was 24. I was working for Bayer Pharmaceutical. And so I tell them what I'm doing. So you have to tell them what you're doing. This is what I do. And if you love what you do, say, you know, I love what I do. You know, that's fine. But then you say, but for me, I was like, well, and then my dad asked me to go to lunch one day and shared he wasn't going to retire. And it changed my whole mindset, because what I thought to be true around what my parents had modeled to me, and me working a plan for someone else's financial success, and then work the best years of your life between alarm clocks and time clocks, and then get the congratulations, you can't retire.
Right.
I thought, okay, that sucks. And then I'll ask the person, wouldn't you agree that sucks? And they go, yeah, that sucks. And I was like, okay, man, yeah, I agree, man. And I was like, so when my dad shared that with me, though, I said, man, I got to do something else. So it was either landscape or lawn care. I was going to start that. And then I got introduced to this unfranchised business. Have you ever heard of an unfranchised? They say no. I'm always trying to, like, give a little bit, guys, and then ask a question.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of an unfranchised? No. And I said, yeah, me neither, man. But when I looked at it, I was like, I've never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable. So I brought the two opportunities to my dad. And I said, which one do you think I should do? And my dad was like, well, you got a good job. Like, you're making more than I've ever made at your job. Like, why do you got to do something additional? My dad still defaulted to the employee mindset because that was his habit for the last 65 years of his life. But I knew I needed to do something different. And so what I'm really excited about is that I found a way that I'm going to be home with my 5 amazing children, and my wife and I can be full-time parents and know that everything that is in our calendar is here because we chose to put it there. Do you know anybody else that would like to do the same thing? See, if you take somebody on a roller coaster ride on that story, so it's like 30 seconds past, 30 seconds present, and a 60-second vision mission, where you go and building a great team of people that are ambitious and cheering each other on. It's all about the team, guys. It's about the energy. It's about the excitement. It's about, we're creating a culture where nobody's left behind. Do you know anybody that would want to be a piece of that?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, they can be customers for you, know, and I let them off the hook. But it has to be exciting, or else people just go, oh, okay, good for you. Or you have to ask them a question in the end. Here's where I'm going. And I'm really excited. By this time next year, I'm going to be earning an extra $300 to $1,000 a month, part-time. And I bring up the money at the end there, by the way, because if I bring it up, they don't ask me how much money I'm making. That's a tip. But, well, Cullen, I don't want to say how much money, because what if I'm not? If you're already thinking that, then you won't.
Absolutely.
To $1,000 a month, Ton, not hard to do with what we. I mean, $300 to $1,000 a week, that takes a little more time and a little more momentum. But, like, guys, you should be expecting $300 to $1,000 a month coming in on your business. 90 today, back when we started, Ton, it was a little longer to get there for at least Trinity and I. Okay, I know Jim went way faster than us. But for Trinity and I mean, it was like 6.5 months to make it through the pay cycle. We got people making it through the pay cycle today in like 90 days.
Yep.
Like, come on, man, let's go. And you should expect to go through that pay cycle every 90 days as you're ramping up to where it goes quicker and quicker and quicker.
Yep.
Bring up the money, you guys, because it's you speaking through the person back to you and selling yourself on that you will be there. So if you say $300 to $1,000 a month, let alone a week, because you want to bring the possibility in a year from now, you should be making $1,000 a week, because you could if you just keep your foot on the gas.
Yep. You
Okay.
know, and you know, I like your excitement. I love, you know, the energy that you have, and you've got to bring it, right? When you're in a business that you're trying to, and you know, attract other people to you, you have to be excited. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to be Elizabeth Weber excited. I'm not even
No.
saying you have to be Cullen excited. You have
Right.
to be you excited because people know you.
That's
Don't
right.
be somebody you're not, but be excited, know where you're going to go. By you having that vision, that goal of where you're going, not where you hope to be, right, but where you're going, that's what's going to make people follow you.
That's
And when you do that, you'll be able to have, you know, speakers come in, and it will be no problem for you to be able to move a ticket to them. Be no problem for you to get them to sit down with you or do a follow-up or get them to lead to other people that may know the right people. You've got to have that mindset that it's happening, and not even it's going to happen. It's happening. I always tell people, don't be the gonna guy. I'm gonna do this, gonna do that, gonna do this, gonna do that, but never do anything. Right? It's happening. Make it happen. So with that being said, Cullen, you know, thank you so much for your time. You know, I hope, you know, as people are watching these videos, that they're putting some comments down below if they've got some ideas of things that they'd like to hear for our next webinar before you come out. I mean, these are just some great tidbits and tips in how to promote, and really the what's in it for me factor in why they need that ticket. It's not just about selling the ticket, not about just getting it in their hand. It's about how can we serve? How can we give them value in showing up, whether it's in their personal lives, their business lives, or their future unfranchised lives. You know, and so I'm really excited to have you come out, and looking forward to seeing you again. And say hi to Trinity for me.
Hey, one last thing too.
Yep.
We will be doing a webinar, Show the Plan. And when
Okay.
we launch that, make sure you guys all get your guests on there, because I'm going to jump on a webinar here, and I might be the one that launches. I'll get with Tom, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to show the plan, get people on, and just say, you know, hey, this is the guy who's coming in. You know, come learn from a guy who's been home with his kids, you know, 5 kids for, you know, 18 plus years now. Let me show the plan. I'll promote the ticket. Your job is to sell the ticket that night, though, no matter what, right? And so that's going to be the deal. Okay, I want to sell more. I want you to take the tickets you have and burn through them. And if you don't have the tickets right now, get with Tom, get your ticket and burn through them. Like,
Absolutely.
there isn't a single city I've done this in, Tom, with this, the way we're doing it, that I haven't had people that I featured at the seminar as people who followed what I'm sharing and taken action out of convention now, especially you guys. Be the person that blows your business up and that I get to feature at the seminar, man. It's going to be awesome.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Cullen. You're amazing. If you guys want to see Cullen show the plan on a webinar for us, put a comment down below and put in STP, show the plan. Put STP in, and we're going to make sure that he does it. You guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much, Cullen, and we'll see all of you at the top. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.